Last October, I shared that I started my broadcast training in pursuit of formal accreditation. Great news, my final story was signed off just last Friday, and I now finally feel ready to share some of the news reports and interviews that I produced for City News. The first story is still in the news. Last year marked Rachel Reeves' first autumn statement as the UK's Chancellor of the Exchequer, the first woman to ever hold that office. For WASPI campaigners, WASPI stands for Women Against State Pension Inequality. Hopes for long-awaited justice were quickly dimmed. These women have spent years demanding compensation after being left in the dark about changes to their pension age. I caught up with some of them outside the Houses of Parliament as they were rallying the government once more, urging the Chancellor to hear their cause.
The issue is that there was a law passed in 1995 which set out increases to the pension age, and it gave time specifically for people to make plans. What happened in 2011 during David Cameron's coalition government, they accelerated the pace of changing that retirement age, and they did it very quietly, and there wasn't any notice from most women. I got no notice at all. I was looking after my husband and my elderly mother, who was blind and deaf. I phoned up in 2000 when I was about to be 60, and how do I get my pension? And they said, well, you've got another 5.5 years to work. So I had to find work at the age of 60, which isn't easy. And in my own circumstance, I found finally a job gardening, but it caused a slipped disc and a broken wrist because we women get weaker after menopause. We didn't have time to prepare at all. I sold my house to try and live. So where do I live now? Well, on the kindness of friends.
And what are you hoping that the Chancellor unveils in today's budget that will help women like you?
There was a report by the independent inspectors that found that the DWP had not notified women. They'd slipped it through quietly, and nobody or very few people got a letter, and the Ombudsman has said that was wrongdoing and has recommended compensation. Still, the government is trying to pretend that it didn't happen. Many of us are grannies, and we have great sympathy for children and parents who are living out below the poverty level, but it happened to many, many of us also.
And do you have any hope that there'll be any change in the budget today?
I think Parliament is still trying to pretend that it doesn't exist, as the Cameron government also assumed, that old women don't matter. But we're women who worked all our lives, paid all our national insurance, looked after our families, missed out on career promotion because we took time out to care for children. And we say, please, do the right thing. Mr. Starmer, you have come into power because of promises to be correct and do the right thing. And Rachel Reeves, we say to you, please do the right thing.
The Ombudsman in March of this year reported that maladministration had been found, that injustice had occurred, and as a result recommended compensation. He put that to Parliament for them to make a decision about how and how much should be paid. And 223 days later we are still waiting. So, I would hope that there would be at least some indication in the budget as to when a compensation scheme will be presented to Parliament so that we can move on.
I've got a present for the Chancellor.
Oh, have you?
Yes, she talked about when she took her office, because she is the first woman Chancellor. Now, us 50s women were the women who paved the way for her to actually become the first woman Chancellor. And we've had the goalposts changed in us so often that I got a nice picture printed out, because all the Glasgow Waspis went to the Mary Barber statue. And Mary Barber in 1915 managed to get the Rent Act enabled. So we've taken a lovely photograph, and this is for our office. And I hope she'll put these up as inspirational women, because we've been fighting this for almost 10 years. And we're losing 111 WASPI women every day.
I mean, unfortunately for those of us who've been campaigning behind these guys, because they've been phenomenal over the course of so many years now, there was no mention from the Chancellor in the Chamber today around the WASPI campaign, or righting the fundamental wrong which was imposed upon so many people. There was money put in place for compensation schemes for other heinous things that have happened, and rightly so. But what I would have liked to have seen was the Labour government take the action that they should be taken in respect to the WASPI women. That's not happened today, but you know, the fight goes on, and we'll continue to stand side by side with the WASPI women. Okay.
Is somebody talking? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
The current Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, Liz Kendall, was a former supporter of the campaign, and she issued a statement back in December. She acknowledged the government's maladministration and formally apologized. However, she rejected the Ombudsman's call for blanket compensation, calling it neither fair nor proportionate for taxpayers. A fresh E-Petition debate took place in Parliament on March 17th. I will link the Parliament YouTube channel where you can watch the full discussion. And this is a story that I want to continue to follow. And now to a business story. Over the last decade, the UK's beauty and grooming industry has undergone a quiet transformation. From luxury beard bars to aesthetic clinics for men, a new culture of male self-care is taking up space and reshaping what the modern grooming economy looks like.
London is seeing a sharp increase in demand for male grooming products and services. The UK men's grooming market is estimated at 600 to 650 million in 2025, up from 500 million in 2019. The fascinating shift in London's beauty scene is a tale of two trends. While male grooming businesses are on the rise, there is also a decline of women's beauty businesses and services.
We are a unisex salon, men and women. We've been here for quite a long time now. We are finding that more men come in now. And since lockdown, I think women do their hair at home a lot more. They're sort of more relaxed. They have all this technology to do their hair with like the Dyson and the Shark hair dryers and stuff. And they kind of can get salon results at home.
People work from home so much now, so therefore that's altered how, when people were in the office, they would come in more frequently. I think that's the biggest change, because people are at home a lot more, and therefore they don't come into a salon as much as they would have done. I think that's the main change. So it's kind of like the work from home culture has kind of altered it.
Well, it's just like there's more men coming in. Most of them are working around here. They come in for pedicure like every 2-3 weeks, so more regularly than women. And we're not doing as greatly as we used to do before COVID. It's much quieter.
You have a consultation first. You get like 10-15 minutes consultation to see how the client feels about their hair, what they're looking for, what they want to achieve. Obviously, once we've done that, we take them over to the wash. Yeah, we do a hair wash, and then after the hair wash, we do condition. Once we condition the hair, we do a scalp massage. Once we've done scalp massage, obviously we dry the hair, towel dry. Then we bring it back to the section, and then once we start the cutting hair, we get to know the client, how they, their lifestyle, about their hair, about everything else. Just get to know them a bit more, and that's the haircut.
Barbering and beauty, the portfolio's broadened, a lot. There's a lot more services they can offer, so I can see why that side of the industry is growing a lot more because, as I say, barbering, you've got all various different things, and it's almost like a community now going into barbers. So, you know, like people are stopping going to the pubs. You know, not many people are going to the pubs, but actually they're going to the barber shops and having a chat with their mates and the stuff, and all agreeing to come down at the same time. Because again, they might have got a bar in there, you know what I mean? They might have got food in there, they might have got a pool table. And it's very good how the barbers have done it. You know what I mean? They've looked at, you know, what my consumer, what my, you know, client needs, and gone, right, I can provide that. You know, I can provide that, you know, domain that people come in. And I also think that with men, particularly on skin fades and stuff, you have to keep it up.
In the salon that I used to work in the city as well, we used to offer Prosecco in the afternoons, and that used to drive them in a lot. And they would talk to each other, you know, you talk about your plans for the evening, you talk about, you know, whatever it is that women talk about. It used to be so fun. It was so good. I think it's just, back in the day, I feel like women used to go in for weekly blow dries, and it was kind of like, it just sets you off like for the week on a good step. And yeah, we don't find that anymore. I fear that, you know, it's not really going to be that normal to get a blow dry anymore in the future, because that used to be a very normal thing.
And finally, we round off with some sports and entertainment.
So now we have entertainment with Safiya Ahmed.
Thank you, Lizzie. RuPaul's Drag Race UK star, the Vivienne, died after taking ketamine. The TV star who won the first series of the BBC show was found dead at the age of 32 in January. Their manager and friend Simon Jones has warned against the effects of the drug. He said that usage is on the rise, particularly amongst young people, and he stressed the need for more discussion. The actor and writer Stephen Graham has received new praise from his co-writer Jack Thorne for his extraordinary idea for the show. He said the two of them were able to have some very honest discussions and went to some very dark places, and hopes that that honesty shows on screen. Thorne went on to say, to understand the problem of male anger and male rage, they had to understand their own anger and rage and cruelty. The Netflix show has earned widespread critical praise since its release. TV presenter Davina McCall has said returning to work after she was diagnosed with a brain tumor feels amazing. The 57-year-old underwent surgery last year to remove a benign tumor and is set to make her live television comeback for the annual Comic Relief Telethon this Friday. It was discovered during a health checkup as part of her menopause advocacy work. The presenter, who's known for hosting Big Brother on Channel 4, is a campaigner for women's health issues and has presented documentaries on contraception and menopause.
Thanks, guys. Now for Safiya with the latest on sports.
Marcus Rashford is excited for his first time playing a new team. The 27-year-old former England forward is looking forward to his first game with Aston Villa this weekend. Rashford's not played since mid-December and will be playing for the first time for a different team since his transfer from boy club Manchester United. He says he doesn't know what to expect but isn't scared of going into a new environment. In other sports, Manchester City has recruited Omar Mamouche in a new deal that cost £59 million. The former Eintracht Frankfurt player says that it's a pleasure and an honour for him and his family to be representing Manchester City. And in other sports news, Tom Daley's coach Jane Figueiredo is leaving Aquatics GB after more than a decade. She guided Daley to 4 Olympic medals and began working with him at the end of 2013. Daley was one of Team GB's youngest Olympians at the 2008 Olympics. Hello and welcome to City News Christmas Special. I'm Safiya Ahmed.
And I'm Scarlett Milburn-Smith. The Notre Dame has now reopened its doors to the public following a 5-year repair project.
The cathedral is in the midst of a series of celebratory events to mark its opening. City News' international correspondent Sebastian Topin was in Paris to find out more.
Thank you, Safiya. There's little doubt that the resurrection and reopening of the Notre Dame has brought the people of Paris, France and the rest of the world a sense of solace and unity. Back to you in London.
Thank you, Sebastian. And now we go to Daisy Billington, who has a City News exclusive with a star cast member of a local nativity.
I'm here today at Stepney Farm with the 2 stars in the nativity show, George and Dunstan. Hi guys, can you tell me a little bit more about your performance in the show? Fantastic.
He had more lines than I did in my nativity. Thank you, Emma. And now for some more festive fun. I don't know about you, but I need some cheap and eco-friendly Christmas craft ideas to spruce up my house.
Well, luckily we are joined by Izzy Clark today, our craft expert, who's going to be showing us how to make some festive crafts. So Izzy, what have you got for us today?
So thanks so much for having me, guys, first of all. So today we've got a Christmas orange garland to make. So this is a really good kind of decoration if you're looking for something really cheap, easy. It's also very eco-friendly. So basically, what we've used here is literally just oranges and like scrap cardboard. It's amazing. So the way you make them is, we can actually just demonstrate right now. So Safiya, if you want to cut some string for us, maybe about a metre long.
Thank you so much for watching. There were times that the training was really hard, but I wanted to share more with you, but I think a lot of the time I was so overcome with imposter syndrome. Your support of the channel has genuinely inspired me to keep growing, learning and expanding the kinds of stories I tell.